The keys to the apartment still felt new in Alina's hands. She had bought the small 2-room flat in Yaroslavl before her wedding, a modest place on the 7th floor with wide windows overlooking the Volga. It wasn't luxurious, but it was hers. Every shelf, every curtain, every cup in the kitchen had been chosen carefully, symbolizing independence she had worked years to achieve. After marrying Denis, she believed the apartment would become their shared beginning. For the first few months, life seemed peaceful. Denis worked as a mechanic, joked often, and promised they would eventually buy a bigger home together. But everything changed the day his mother arrived, for a few days. Those few days quietly turned into weeks. Galina Petrovna criticized everything. The soup was too thin, the curtains too bright, the floors insufficiently clean. Denis laughed it off at first, asking Alina to be patient. "She's just adjusting," he said. One Saturday morning, Alina returned from grocery shopping and froze in the doorway. Denis and his mother were dragging a heavy brown sofa down the hallway toward the bedroom. "What are you doing?" she asked, setting the bags down slowly. Denis didn't even look at her. "Idi na kunu I ne les vinasi s materudela," he barked. "Go to the kitchen and stay out of my mother's business." Alina felt the words strike harder than a slap. Her mother-in-law stood behind him, arms crossed, watching with a satisfied smile. "This room is bigger," Galina Petrovna added calmly. "I'll sleep here. You young people can manage in the living room." Alina stared at them in disbelief. Her bedroom. In her apartment. Something inside her shifted, not anger, but clarity. Without arguing, she walked into the kitchen, took out her phone, and opened a folder labeled, "Documents." Mortgage contract, property certificate, registration papers, all in her name alone. She called someone quietly. An hour later, the doorbell rang. 2 men from a private moving service stepped inside, followed by a district police officer Alina had requested for civil supervision. Denis looked confused. "What's this?" he asked. Alina's voice was calm, almost gentle. "This is my apartment," she said, handing the officer the ownership papers. "And I'm asking unauthorized residents to leave." Galina Petrovna gasped. "Denis, tell her she's joking." But Denis's confidence began to crumble as the officer nodded after checking the documents. "She has the legal right," the officer said simply. Silence filled the room. Within minutes, the movers began carrying things, not into the bedroom, but toward the front door. Suitcases. Boxes. The same sofa Denis had proudly dragged inside earlier. "Alina, stop this," Denis whispered urgently. "We're family." She looked at him steadily. "Family doesn't erase someone's home," she replied. "And family doesn't order me into the kitchen in my own apartment." An hour later, Denis and his mother stood outside near the entrance, surrounded by their belongings. The sofa rested awkwardly beside them on the pavement. The door closed with a quiet click. Inside, the apartment felt strangely peaceful. Alina opened the windows, letting cool evening air flow through the rooms. For the first time in weeks, the silence felt like relief instead of tension. She made herself tea, sat by the window, and realized something important. Buying the apartment had not only given her a home, it had given her the power to protect her dignity. And that, she thought, was worth far more than marriage built on disrespect.